Hello everyone and welcome back to SteemTrail Gaming News. Today is the 26th of May 2018. My name is Kralizec and I will be your host for the evening. Today we got two stories for you guys. First, we're going to talk about the Overwatch League as it seems to be going into a decline. And secondly, we're going to look at some idiots, at some Swatters who are now facing federal charges. But let's begin with Overwatch League. You know, supposedly what was supposed to be the biggest esports league there is out there. But as, well, I predicted, and many others, it isn't doing as well as, well, Blizzard has hoped for. So, essentially, Overwatch League, what it is a league that is trying to imitate the way traditional sports work in the world of esports, with things like having city-based cities so you can root for your own hometown. But recently there was a conference called Big 12, and one of the attendants on a panel that was all about whether esports should be actually considered sports was billionaire Mark Cuban, who is actually the owner of one of the Overwatch teams. He's the owner of the Dallas Mavericks. And he himself is acknowledging that Overwatch League, while still somewhat popular, is trending downwards. I actually have the numbers for you guys here, so we can actually take a look at the numbers themselves. So here are the numbers. You can see each color represents one of the stages. Currently we are at stage 4, that's why the stage 4 line is the shortest. And you can see Overwatch League started really well. They started at above 350,000 viewers for the first viewing. Directly the second viewership was under 250,000. That's 100,000 people who stopped watching after the first event. And it just kept going downwards. And as you can all see, it's pretty much a line with each stage going a little bit lower than the previous stage, with the most recent viewing, which is stage 4, just being down there. The second week of the stage 4 actually managed to do only about 70,000 viewers. And that is really low for supposedly the biggest esports out there. And if you just follow lines, I think we can all agree it seems that the trend will be similar in the future as well. I really don't think that Overwatch was a good choice for this kind of league. And on top of that, I really don't understand why they tried to imitate sports. I've talked about this before. These are esports. We don't really want to root for our home team. We're not really going somewhere every week to watch our favorite team dominate the others on their home stadium. No, we're watching this on our PCs. And if we want to watch somebody, no matter where they are, we can. And we don't give a shit where their quote-unquote home city is. Because, let's face it, even in traditional sports, the majority of the players don't actually come from these cities. And in esports, it's just exaggerated. Nobody's from the original home city. And nobody in Dallas cares about the Dallas team. And nobody anywhere else cares about their quote-unquote home team. They follow e-celebrities. They follow their favorite players. And they don't care for what team they're playing. They care about the personality of the player. Esports are just so very different from traditional sports that trying to imitate the format in which esports are in which sports are played in the esports format is just dumb. And I just don't understand why it was even attempted. On top of that, Overwatch League actually failed to follow its own rules, at least the players have. Some have been kicked out of their teams. There was a pretty restrictive code of conduct that I honestly didn't like at all because it was very vague and didn't really tell people what they are allowed to do and what they aren't allowed to do. So, people, Overwatch is not the best esports to watch. I think that was pretty clear from the very beginning. Overwatch is a fun game to play. Don't get me wrong on that one. I've played a decent chunk of it. At least 100 hours, I'm pretty sure. Though I haven't been playing it of late, not because I don't think it's fun, but because I've been trying to be playing other games. And that's the case with plenty of gamers. And yes, some do like to stick with their one game and they like to watch professionals play it as well. But Overwatch is not really great for that. For many, many reasons. None the least probably being the fact that it's actually horrible to watch. There's too much going on. And keeping focus on what's important is very hard. MOBAs are great for this. There's, you got plenty of screen. You can see many players. You can see point of views from 2-3 players if you want to, by screen sharing. But doing the same for Overwatch? No, nobody will really enjoy that. Nobody will be capable to focus enough on that apart from the very few super knowledgeable people. So I honestly think that Overwatch League is a failed experiment. It's an experiment to see whether people want to see the traditional sport formats in esports. And I think we got a pretty resolute answer. And the answer is no. So hopefully, at least companies in the future will be able to learn from this. They will be able to understand that we don't really care about what the quote-unquote home city of our team is. We care about the people who are in the team. And on top of that, something that Blizzard should particularly take note of is that viewability is an important factor when building an esport. And sadly, Overwatch just doesn't have the viewability. So, companies in the future, remember, we don't care about where the team is from. We care about the people. But what we do care about is whether we can easily understand what is going on the screen. Okay, and our second piece of news for today is about a swatting incident that happened back in 2000, and it was actually this year, a few months ago, and federal charges have been brought against the people who instigated the swatting incident in late 2017 in Wichita, Kansas. So what happened? Just a quick review. There was an idiot who played Call of Duty, got into a dispute with another player, contacted one guy who is actually pretty well known for the fact that he is a swatter, gave him an address, and the swatter called the police with a false report saying there was a hostage situation, and it led to the death of a man. It led to the death of a 20-year-old Andrew Finch, who was not at all involved in this. He was just a guy chilling at home. And sadly, when he stepped out onto the front porch, he got killed by one of the police officers. What should be mentioned also is the fact that the police officer actually wasn't charged with anything. The county district attorney, Mark Bennett, determined that the officer in question believed that Finch had drawn a gun from his waistband and that his life and the lives of his fellow officers were in danger. While I will probably call bullshit on that, I can see why that could probably be an option. But what I'm very proud to say is that the people who instigated the swatting incident, who are the true villains in this, are now facing charges. So they are being now sued for making false reports to emergency services, cyber stalking, making interstate threats, wire fraud, and on top of that, some state-level charges. So the charges, more precisely, is the making a false report resulting in the death of a person or cyber stalking resulting in death, and this carries pretty severe penalties. And I'm very glad for that, because we need to punish the people who do this if we want this trend to stop. I've talked about this again numerous times. So what they are actually facing is penalties up to a lifetime in prison and a fine of up to $250,000. Honestly, I would prefer if they just went to prison for life with no chance of getting released on parole. Because, well, they did a stupid thing and somebody died. I know it's not really murder. It's unintended killing, I guess. But still, swatting is dumb and needs to be heavily punished. Because, again, that's the only way we will get rid of it from our community. And at this moment, I do believe that it is the worst thing in our community, and we need to get rid of it. So, again, here's my piece of advice. Never ever do swatting yourself. If you know anybody who's even thinking about this, punch them in the face and call the cops on them. And hope that they actually get punished by the law. And with that being said, that's going to be it for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, please consider giving us a thumbs up here on YouTube and subscribing to the channel. If you're watching on Steam, maybe you want to give us an upvote and follow the blog. Either way, be sure to leave a comment and be sure to tune in tomorrow for more gaming news, as we are your source of daily gaming news every single day. See you guys later with more gaming content.